Hey, what's up? It's Tony from Street Church, and welcome to the Inside Job Podcast. All or nothing. That's the title of this week's episode. All or nothing. And you might be thinking I am talking about the fact that we either yield and submit all to Christ or nothing. That we either roll the dice on him and let it ride, or we don't. And that's true. That's very, very important. That's not where I am going here. So I'll come out of the gates this way. Life is brutal. It's tough. It's uphill. It is what it is for all of us. It's filled with seasons of trouble and pain, heartache and suffering. And what I love about the scriptures is that it doesn't try to pump fake us. It doesn't try to fake us out. It doesn't try to make us think otherwise. In the Bible, there's all of the pain and tears and suffering and trouble and grit and grime that humanity has to offer. And it's almost like it wants us to expect trouble. It wants us to realize and to know that pain and trouble is not the exception, but the norm for humanity. And that we would do well if we would expect that to be our reality and prepared for it to come so that we would smell better when we get to the other side of suffering, right? And what we see in inner city Trenton, in our ministry, is there's so much trauma in people's lives. There's so many scars. There's so much anxiety and depression and despair from childhood trauma, from abuse of all different kinds, like you name it. And it scars people's lives, right? And it weighs them down. It robs them of peace, of a sense of meaning and purpose and satisfaction, of a sense of knowing their value in God's eyes, from knowing the fact that their lives has meaning and it has purpose. And it drives me crazy. And it's really hard. And a lot of people I know, they don't recognize and they don't realize one super important thing that as a believer, as a Christian, you have to stick in your back pocket. And you have to know and trust and you have to remember. So in Matthew chapter 28, the last thing that Jesus said was, he said, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Normally, when we think of that word all, the first thing that comes to mind is words like everything, or the sum total, right? Normally, everything is the word I naturally go to in my thoughts when I hear the word all. But all means something else. And this is also what the word all means. When Jesus said all authority, he also meant no one else has any. No one else holds the gavel, holds the ultimate gavel, right? No one else has any real significant authority other than Jesus. And we know that from the scriptures. I mean, even Job, in order for Satan to jam up Job and to mess with him, what did he have to do? He had to go to God first and ask for the okay. He had to get the okay. He had to ask for permission. Too many times in the church and in people's lives who I see suffering with things, they blame the devil, right? It's the devil's fault. It's the devil. And certainly he is involved in influencing people in ways that are going to rob them of the lives that God wants them to live. But you know what? Too many times we give him too much cred. He gets too much credibility, right? I mean, even he had to ask for permission to mess with Job. And anybody who has to ask for permission is under the authority of someone else. Boom. Period. And that's true because no one else has any real authority other than Christ. That's always been the case, and it always is the case, and it always will be the case. I mean, Jesus is done becoming a human being. The season and the era of Jesus being a man of affliction and sorrows is done with. The season of Jesus emptying himself and becoming, a bondservant is over. The season of Jesus being born in a manger is over. The season of Jesus being a man of sorrows is over. Jesus has been given all authority. And that not only means everything, that means no one else has a lick. No one else has any. Remember that. Put it in your back pocket for rainy days. Because we all have those rainy days. And so, one for the road. You only live once. But if you do it right, once is enough. And remember, count each day a new life. Have a great day. I'll see you guys next.